welcome Eagle fans to the Week 3 McDonald's coaching show. As you can see, McDonald's hooked us up this morning, Coach. Got us some breakfast and some tea and some coffee. So
I love their bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yes.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
appreciate James Laird, McDonald's. James was a former ball player here, and great defensive lineman for us.
Well, he's also a great provider of breakfast as well, and so we want to thank Mr. Laird and McDonald's for sponsoring this coaches show as we look back at a 51-0 win against the General Trass Panthers and look forward to a matchup with the Delhi Bears coming up. So, Coach, first thing is you got to feel good starting off the season, not only 2-0, but with 2 shutouts back-to-back.
Well, I tell you, they guys are playing hard right now, and I was proud of their perseverance the other day because think about that game, it was 7-0, 6 minutes left in the half, and we were able to score 4 touchdowns in the last 6 minutes. A couple of big pass plays, got an onside kick that allowed one of those big plays to happen. Defense had a pick 6, and then our 2-minute offense. They got the ball with less than a minute left and executed some plays and scored right there with just a few seconds left in the half. And so all those things are big positives to build on that, again, 4 touchdowns in the final 6 minutes is huge. And, again, all phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, had a hand in making those things happen. And so, again, that just really blew things open right there. And so that was really big for us to be able to do that and then come out. First series of third quarter, offense executed great, start things off and hit that 42-point lead to start running the clock. Yeah,
so all those things, I do want to touch on some of those things because, it was 35-0 at halftime, which looks like a blowout, but – you mentioned what was 6 minutes to go, we were up 7-0, and then with 4 minutes to go, it was still 14-0. I mean, we scored 3 more times in the last 4 minutes of the first half. But General Trass comes out, and if you look at that team, I think one thing you noticed was the wide receiver, Ware was his name, and the third play of the game, they throw a deep ball to him, and he catches it. And as a fan, you're sitting there thinking, okay, that's a matchup problem because he is so tall. And so that's a shot they took several other times, but the defense held. That was really their only threatening drive.
That was the only big play they had of the game.
Yeah, and so we keep him out of the end zone there, and then we go down. And here's why I bring this up, because I want to talk about Luke for a second. Luke looked really comfortable last Friday, and on the ensuing drive after we stopped General Trass, Luke throws a touchdown pass to Patrick Turpin that, in my opinion, was one of the best throws I've seen him make. Turpin kind of runs up the middle, and he's covered pretty well, and Luke throws him to the back shoulder, and it's just, it's perfect timing, anticipation, accuracy, all those things. So Luke looked really comfortable the other night.
He had a great game. I mean, he was 12 of 13. I mean, you don't get much better than that. And so, 12 of 13 and 3 or 4 touchdowns. But, yeah, that pass right there particular where it was like that was one of those wow passes that, and again, that goes to those 2 guys that spend a lot of time outside of practice. That's not stuff that yes, we do during practice, a lot of pass and catch, but those 2 spend a lot of time outside of practice, after practice, just connecting right there. But to be able to hit a back shoulder like that, that's tough to do. And again, that only comes from people spending a lot of extra time. But, yeah, Luke, he picked up where he left off. At game 1, he stepped out there and did great. But, yes, as far as this next week, there again, it's not a surprise anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just, last year as he's young, it's what can he do? Hey, big game, that's great. And right now he's just comfortable to where he steps in there and it's natural for him. It's not he's not pressing to do things. It's just coming a lot more natural, and again, he's playing great.
Yeah, and I also want to give kudos to the offensive line because, as a quarterback, the first thing that has to happen for you to feel comfortable is you have to feel protected by your offensive line.
No doubt.
And so they did a great job protecting him, but also kind of clearing the way for the run game to balance out the offense during that game.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Again, offensive line, they are really coming together. And, again, that's a spot where we had several new starters this year. And again, Turner's one that never's played offensive line before. Stacy has played very little. But, again, Coach Mosier is doing a great job bringing those guys together that again, they're gelling together, understanding, working well together as a unit. And, yes, it all starts with those guys up front that never get their names mentioned. But they are doing a great job. And, again, yes, Luke has to feel comfortable knowing that he's protected and he can do what he needs to do and not have to worry about where's pressure coming from. And so offensive line is doing a great job up there.
Well, that was one of the question marks coming into the season. Like, how is this going to work out? Well, we got Jackson Mann and John Turner and Micah Mosier and Stacy Shaw and Bo Gregory.
Yeah.
So I'll say their names. Try to. It's hard to do it on Friday nights, even though we give them credit. But individuals, they have done a great job. That again went from being a question mark to one of the strengths of our team early in the season. So, that's good to see. And then the connection between Luke and Patrick Turpin for the first 3 touchdowns of the night. Just a fantastic performance. He found Patrick when it mattered. And Patrick and the other guys are doing a great job at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, they are. And yes, Patrick came up with some tough catches. The one I think he had 4 catches and 3 were touchdowns, but. His most impressive catch may have been the one that was not the touchdown over on the sideline, the far sideline. He just really turned his body and made a great catch, keeping his feet in bounds and things like that. Just good control. And so, and yes, our other receivers did a great job. And then running backs, Turner and Macon both. They did some good stuff out there.
Yeah, Jude was actually our leader in receiving yards and receptions. I mean, and I did want to ask you about that because, if you look at Macon and at Jude, I mean, you got kind of a really good tandem there. And, Macon's kind of known for his speed and Jude's kind of known for his brute force, but they're actually a little more closer, comparable. They're both big and they're both fast.
Yes, they both have great qualities. I mean, they both do have good speed. They both do have good size, and so good qualities for a running back.
Yeah.
And stop and think about our receiver group. We've had in the first 2 games, we've had 3 guys go over 80 yards.
Yeah, that's right.
Three different guys, and so that's valuable in the sense that. It can be anybody, any week.
Yeah, it's a problem for defenses too.
It is.
So, and then and Luke Edwards, who has not gone over 80 yards yet, is a fantastic receiver. And so, but I think he got banged up a little bit the other night.
He had sprained his ankle there tonight. So he's gonna walking around in the boot right now, resting that, trying to get it well. So hopefully we'll have him back in a couple more weeks.
Yeah, that'll be good. Also, our special teams the other night, Coach, I just want to mention that having a kicker like Gavin is just devastating to other teams, especially you don't get a chance to return the ball on deep kicks because he kicks it into the end zone. And then if you adjust, then you had the onside kicks. We had 2 of them that we recovered. Was that three in 2 games, but and then they play for that. He's got the sky kick. Now we had 2 different onside kicks the other night, so
we did.
So you got a whole playbook for your kicker on just kickoff.
It is a great weapon that Coach Bentley and I are talking about that. I mean, just the luxury of going, hey Gavin, this is where we'd like to put it, and it doesn't matter if it's sky left, sky right, short in the middle, because he put one the other night. The way that they spread out, Coach Bentley said, hey, drop it right there in that empty hole in the middle, and it did. And the tough thing as the receiving team, you don't know which way that ball is going to bounce. When it hits that empty spot, is it going towards you or towards the other direction? And so that is a great weapon to have. And Gavin, he works at it on weekends. And there again, that's one of those things that the work that he does behind the scenes shows up on game night.
Yeah. And we haven't had many punts this year, either 1 or 2. I'm not sure, but just one. Yeah, we've had just one punt this year in 2 games, but that's something else that he is very adept at is punting the ball. And when you can play the field position
and
game,
he can throw it too.
and he can throw it. That's right, he sure can. So just just a whole toolbox of weapons that you have in a kicker. And like you said, it's a luxury, especially when you see the other teams that are punting against us that struggle so hard to flip the field when they're unable to pick up the first down. So that's something we can look forward to with Gavin if he ever gets the chance to punt. I'm sure it's coming at some point. So back-to-back shutouts to start the season. Okay, I looked it up. So that was our 95th shutout historically out of 569 games. So, but we've had back-to-back shutouts. The interesting thing, General Trass and Caldwell, they made the list for the first time. It's the first time we've ever shut either one of those teams out.
Okay.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that's really a nod to the defense, special teams also, but the defense. What do you think about your defense this year, Coach?
They're coming around. I mean, again, the biggest thing is effort. Yeah. And when you give great effort, a lot of good things happen. And they're giving good effort right now. There's still a lot of technical things that we get nitpicky on that, we say it's going to show up, be exposed later on if we don't correct these now. But the biggest thing is effort. And so, again, they're giving good effort, and that's what we're going to keep building on and keep getting better each week in our execution of fundamental things. We had very few missed tackles last week. That was something that I think we improved greatly on, and so and again, don't give up the big play. That's the thing that we preach. And again, big play is a run that's more than 12 yards or a pass that's more than 16, and we only gave up that one long pass, and that was just again breakdown in coverage. But again, those are things that, hey, let's learn from it and correct it so that we don't make that same mistake again. But, again, that's something that is huge is don't give up the big play because that's such a demoralizing thing for the defense is when their team just in one play makes all that ground and stuff. And so, again, real proud of the effort that they've been playing with and the enthusiasm and passion that they're showing. And so, again, it's a great thing to be able to go out there and shut a team out, and they take pride in that.
Yeah.
So, proud of the defense.
Yeah. So you mentioned the running clock. So 35-0 at halftime, we come out, we get the ball to start off the third quarter, and I'm sure you guys are like, hey, we need to put the points on the board, to get over that threshold to where we can start that running clock. So I think. Well, what are the benefits of a running clock? Let's just tell our audience what those are.
I mean, I guess everybody gets to go home somewhere.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
But I guess there's the strengths, weaknesses, stuff like that. You more than likely you're going to get out of the game healthy.
Yep.
That's one thing is that there is obviously going to be less plays. Starters will play less. So you. Again, great chance that everybody's getting out of the game healthy. That's what I see as the number one benefit of a running clock. The negative side is the conditioning aspect of a game. But that's why we're going to start those guys in the second half to allow them to stay in a groove. But there again, we can get conditioning in and practice on Tuesday and Wednesday with how many plays the kids go and stuff like that. In weeks that you have a running clock. And then, drawback is that the young kids may not get as many plays as they typically would with a big lead where the clock is stopped like it used to be. Because the running clock, I guess, last year was maybe the first year.
I think it was. If you get the second half and you go over 40.
And it's actually the first half. As soon as you hit 42 points, because last year – we started running the clock, I think, on St. Mary's in the first half.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're right.
So it's at any point in the game. And again, benefit is it ensures it's going to be a pretty sure victory right there. Because the rule is you don't stop the clock if the team cuts the lead within 14 points or whatever. It does not matter.
It keeps going.
And so that's the other number one advantage is run the clock. It's just going to assure us that we're going to be able to have that victory.
Yeah, and of course, health. That was my thought is the health factor, and As far as the younger kids getting plays, you have JV for that opportunity.
Right.
You got scout team for those types of things, and hopefully those guys will get their experience one way or the other. So this week we have Delhi coming to town, the Delhi Bears, and historically we're 14-1 against Delhi. So what do you expect from this Bears team this year?
I tell you, they have a lot of talented athletes. Devin Miles is their quarterback, jersey number 1. Jay Wright is a guy that they bounce all over the field, jersey number 2. And I would say those are the top 2 guys that make things happen for their offense. They have several other receivers, that make things happen. They will spread the ball around. Offensively, they are a team that they're liable to run or pass, either one. They're about 50-50. But they have the kids that get the ball in their hands, and if you miss a tackle, they're going to make you pay for it. I mean, they have breakaway speed that they can make big things happen. Defensively, they're going to line up and just bring pressure on you. And so our offensive line are going to have to do a good job of communicating, picking up different blitzes and things such as that. So they lost a close game in week 1 to Beekman Charter, kind of a mudslop game, and then they beat Cedar Creek at Cedar Creek last week in a 16-14 ball game, and Delhi's defense kept Cedar Creek out of the end zone. I mean, both of Cedar Creek's touchdowns were defensive touchdowns, and so Delhi has a good defense that has been stopping people, and so it comes down. Thing we emphasize every week is we've got to execute. We've got to get better. That it's test day. You do your homework during the week at school, and teachers provide a test and see how your grade is, and so that's kind of how we approach each game. Is let's get better. Let's things we emphasize. Let's win the turnover war. Let's eliminate all turnovers offensively. Defensively, let's create turnovers. Let's be sure tacklers and avoid giving up the big play. And again, offense, let's execute our assignments, that we're doing the right thing, communicating, making the catches, taking care of the football, and doing the right thing, blocking assignments. And so, again, it's game day's a fun day because you go out there and it's a new test.
All right, so let me ask you this, and I'm going off of memory here, but I've been around long enough to see a couple games against Delhi. One of those was I think Dylan Dugan had a huge game, I think, as a sophomore against Delhi. As a freshman, yeah. Went over 200 yards. Well, then just either a year or two later, I think Will comes in, Will Fitzhugh, and he breaks the single game rushing record, 270-something yards, if I remember right.
352.
352. I was way off. 352. So recent past, we've had a lot of success running the ball.
Yeah, we have, and of course those were different coaches at that point in time. Both of those years, that was 2017 and 2018, is when it was. Because in 2017, when Dugan was a freshman and had 200 yards, we won that game 60-50. And I told Bristow, I said, "You're a liar, Bristow," because Bristow will always come up and, from the defensive standpoint, he'd say, "Hey, we'll hold them to 49 points." I told him after the game, "You're a liar."
You didn't hold up your end of the bargain there.
But we won a shootout that game, and I mean that's when Williams was their quarterback. His dad was the head coach, and I mean they had a great team and throwing the ball all over the place. But it was a shootout game, 60-50. The next year, we were prepared, we've got to stop them, and they converted like 6 of 9 on fourth down against us. 4 of those fourth down conversions were touchdowns, and it was a shootout game again, something like 63-42 or something like that. And that was a shootout game. And, yeah, that was a game that I didn't realize that after the game, whoever was keeping stats told afterwards that, hey, Will just broke Jermaine's rushing record. It's like, how did that happen? Because there were like 17 onside kicks that night.
Yeah,
we kicked 9, they kicked 8. and so yeah, it was been some shootouts with Delhi for sure.
All right, so the game this Friday, against Delhi, and this is really for our audience here and the people that come to the game. But when they pull up to the stadium, they're gonna notice something different. And they've been working on the stadium this week. And I got to tell you, Coach, it looks fantastic. I mean, it looks great. So.
It does. So grateful to Ashton Smith for sponsoring the screens on the back of the stadium and on the front of the stadium. I mean, it brings a wow. I mean, it just cleans things up where you don't see everything we have underneath. I mean, under the stadium is a storage place. Mm-hmm. And so to put those screens up, I mean, it is something that it does just make you go, wow. And so we're grateful to Ashton for sponsoring that. And it does. It just brings a whole new great look to our stadium.
Yeah, no question. So I'm thankful to her. I'm thankful to McDonald's for sponsoring this. Also, Ashton also does our in-game scoreboard update on game nights. But senior night. So that's going on at halftime this Friday, and I think it's going to be kind of a little bit different senior night than we've experienced, Coach.
Well, yes, we're having it week 3. Whereas usually it's at the end of the season, last regular season home game. But last year, when it got to be about 30 to 40 minutes, there's a long lull, hard to be in game mode sometimes, and I said, you know what, we're going to take care of this early in the season because late in the season we're playing district ball games. And so this is not a district ball game. I think our guys are going to be ready to play without a doubt. But, I told the parents they don't have to worry about being as emotional and sappy going, that's our last home game, guaranteed. And we could all have a smile on our face out there and stuff like that. But, proud of this group of seniors. And again, so many of them, this is their first year to start. And just like Andon Melton having that pick there, boy, it just thrills your soul to see that a guy who stuck with it, and not just him, but so many of these other seniors have persevered, waited for their turn, and you know what? They're going to have the best memories for the rest of their life. That although they may have started for only 1 year, that's the year they're going to remember for the rest of their life.
That's right.
And making great memories, but again, the things that football teaches that they will receive out of this, the courage, the discipline, the teamwork, the toughness, the sacrifice, all these qualities that they learn from going through this football program. It's not just, hey, the fun memories of the ball games. That's granted. They're going to remember that. But when they get together, 25 years from now, they're not going to be talking about the score of this game or that game. They're going to be talking about the relationships that they built and the other just fun memories and things that they have.
Yeah, it is a fun group of seniors, and I'll be out there, of course. I'll be in the booth, but I'll be watching them and do wish them, all the best for the rest of the season. Coach, I also want to thank you for your time. What you got?
Well, one more thing. Halftime.
Okay. There we go.
We're going to line up every youngster from kindergarten all the way through that plays OCS football right now, and I think there's over 200 of them.
I believe it.
And so I think our kindergartners, I heard there's 30 of them. So we're going to let the parents help get them lined up. But on the yard line 1, closer to the baseball field, is going to be all those that wear jersey 1. On yard line 2, all the way down. So once we hit the 50, that they'll have to count differently, 51, 52, all the way down, and so we're gonna have a big group of Eagle football family. So I'm excited about that.
I am too.
We haven't done this since the year 2010, and so it's been a while since we've got every Eagle. But that way they get to meet who else is sharing their number, and we get to see how many kids are involved in this program. And then again, it's such a blessing to have that many kids involved.
Our PA guy, Cody Bauman's going to have his work cut out,
I don't
too.
know if we're trying to announce every name. We're not trying to announce every name this week. We're just going to get them out there and get them lined up to where we can at least see how many are out there, and they can meet who's wearing their number as well.
That's really cool, Coach. I think that's a great idea. I do want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to the football game, the seniors being honored at halftime, along with all of the football players at Ouachita Christian School are going to be recognized.
And our pregame, seniors will be recognized pregame.
Okay. So
pregame starts at 6:20. We will have our senior football players and our senior cheerleaders. And so that pregame starts at 6:20 So make sure you get here early to help show honor to.
Oh, you're
to
a party
those.
planner, Coach.
You bet.
So Friday night, kickoffs at 7 o'clock, senior nights at 6:20. We've got our elementary and middle school and everybody else will be on the field at halftime, all the football players. Great picture opportunity. So we got that coming up. And then we got a short turnaround next week. We go to Madison on Thursday night. We'll talk about that next week. And then the week after that is homecoming. And so,
It's flying by.
it is flying by. Week 3, I don't want it to go by too fast, but I'm enjoying every second of it right now, and I look forward to this game. I hope you all can make it out to the game on Friday night. Come support these guys, support the elementary football players, and support the seniors and the coaches at Ouachita Christian School as we take on the Delhi Bears. Next week, we'll get back into our coaches show, but until then, have a great week, and go Eagles.